Buchanan rode him in a gallop yesterday. It was something like what he did there in Leopardstown. He settled in behind his work horses, and Paul thought he was asleep. He said he didn't know whether he was going well or not, but he said the minute he just pulled them together, he just quickened into gear and worked away from the other horses. So we're very pleased.
How big advantage is that, Willie, going into Cheltenham, that he's finally learned to switch off?
It's a huge advantage, I think. That's the thing we were worried about him the last few years, that he was going to get too buzzed up, and he appears now to have matured a lot more, and I think that's a good thing.
Looking back at the 2011 race there, Willie, Pedlar's Cross, Oscar Whiskey, Monora, they've all gone to different pastures. Where do you see the challenge coming this year to him?
Well, I imagine if Binocular comes back and brings his A game back to the racetrack, which it looks like he might be able to do that, that's going to be a huge challenge. And obviously down the bottom's Arkander. He's improving all the time. Ruby obviously knows how good he is, and but you never know, some horses can keep improving, but it's Arkander and Binocular are the two that you'd have to fear on paper, I think.
All right, thanks, Willie. 1,000 Stars, by the way. Any decision on his target, this or the World Hurdle?
Not yet. As I prefer running this race than the World Hurdle. I think he's very ground dependent. He could be an each way chance. The last time he was beaten was back in Cheltenham on ground that was unsuitable. He wasn't right last year after winning in Fairyhouse. He lost all his action, and we think we have him right this year. He still has retained his action, and he worked very well yesterday as well. So at 33-1, you never know.
For the champion hurdle. All right, thanks, Willie. Anthony, I don't know if you had involvement or not in securing Zarkander from France.
Yeah, I did Zarkander and Binocular in this race, but about a month ago I had Spirit Sun and Grand Duet in it as well. So we thought we had a few arrows to shoot at Hurricane Fly. I mean, it's a tough ask, there's no doubt. I mean, but I can't tip Hurricane Fly, can I? I mean, I can't come here and say he's going to win. I think we've got some squeaks here. Binocular's had a wind up since the Christmas hurdle when he struggled to get past Rock on Ruby. He looked good at Wincanton. They're very pleased with him at Seven Barrows, really pleased with him. The only thing is this should be coming up to his 4th champion hurdle. He's been around a long time. You know, he's getting a little bit long in the tooth. But if you're a Binocular fan, I couldn't put you off him. He's in great shape at home. He has come up that hill and looked impressive 2 years ago, and he should have won 3 years ago and was a little bit fat for the race and just got beaten a couple of short heads. Zarkander is unbeaten, and you know, an unbeaten horse, you can make a case for him as well. He coughed before the Betfair hurdle, and he was full of snot the next day after the race. He won, and he won a little bit cosily in the end, but it wasn't impressive, but there's reasons behind it. If you are a Zarkander fan, I couldn't put you off that. He's coming together right. It's a bit of a quick preparation. That's the only thing I would say, but he's unbeaten, he's a smart horse, and he'll stay. We're trying to find chinks in Hurricane Fly's armour. I'm not sure there are any. The only thing I would say is last year's champion hurdle was slightly slower run than normal champion hurdles. This year it will be a strong pace. You've got Overturn going to push it hard. Celestial Halo's in it. Can they take him out of his comfort zone and then let some stayers come through? I'm not sure, but that's what I think. Zarkander's a stayer and he might outstay him, but Hurricane Fly did look good last year, but I couldn't put you off the other two.
All right, thanks, Anthony. Tom, in Adair on Sunday night, and not that we keep referencing other preview nights here, but JP McManus made the point from the floor that Zarkander won the Triumph Hurdle on the new course, but the old course wouldn't have the same stamina requirement. Is that a factor for you?
Yeah, Anthony was just saying to me here on the way in that he thinks Zarkander will end up being a stayer. And if that's the case, then this track that he's running on won't suit him. Having said that, he's got a fantastic attitude. Of all the horses that I've seen, you know, from juveniles going into that run in the Betfair was sensational. You know, everything was wrong for him that day. Love these big handicaps, and I was desperate. I was mad keen to take him on because everything was wrong, but he still showed the attitude that you want from a top horse. This track, the opposition makes life a lot harder. For me, at the price, I can't have him.
And for you at the price, what can you have?
Well, I think, it's going to sound boring here, I think Hurricane Fly will win, but I do think Jesse Harrington's horse Oscar's Well will run well. I think a fast pace, good ground, 2 miles will suit him down to the ground. I don't think he can beat Hurricane Fly, but I think if he's ridden to finish in the frame. He will finish in the frame. I think he's 12, 14 to 1 each way. For me, Oscar's well.
Okay, Davey, if Peter Curling cried off sick and they're looking for someone to paint Hurricane Fly's backside, you probably have seen it more than most. How good is he?
Look, the champion hurdle here last year, I said it was the best that I've ever ridden Solwit. He was never better, and it was probably the best hurdle race I've ridden in. And again this year, I rode the filly of Dermot Wells. Now she didn't run up to scratch, but it still rode a very, very good trial, not far away from last year. And I said in Watford there last year that if Hurricane Fly got beat, I'd wear a Watford jersey, and I'm from Cork, so that was a big ask. But I'll tell you what I'll do this year if Hurricane Fly gets beat. I'll take John McCrillick to dinner. During Cheltenham, and I'll pay for it. Hurricane Fly will not get beaten, touch wood, barring accidents. And don't mind the rest of them.
I don't know, I think the booby will be delighted, will she? Paddy, you've already said Sprinter Soccer won't be beaten. That's the first short price favourite on the Tuesday. Here's the second one. Can this be beaten?
Well, if a Cork man is offering to buy dinner, he mustn't be going to be beat anyway. I think he'll be very hard beat, to be honest with you. He's one we've been ducking all year, to be honest with you, and not one that we'll really want to stick our necks out and go after. Just looking at the second and third favourites, Zarkander and Binocular, both of them are top price, about 5 to 1. Like, I mean, you're getting the two of them combined, a 2 to 1 shot. Like, I'd lay the two of them till the cows came home. Binocular has absolutely no chance, in my opinion. I can't see why lads are fancying him or saying that. If you look back on what he's done, he's got beaten as Supreme Novices when he was at his best by Captain CB. Then he's gone on in a champion hurl. He's got beat by Punjabi and Celestial Halo. Then he's gone on, he's won his champion hurl. And if you look up, he beat that day. He beat Zaynar and Khyber Kim, like two hounds, like, plain and simple. Like, he has absolutely no chance. Willie's saying there that if he comes back to his best, he'd be worrying about him. Like, I wouldn't be losing any sleep anyway, Willie. The other lad, Zarkander, he has no chance either, to be honest with you. We've a tail down the back there. I think their top price here, the two of them at 5 to 1. We give 6s for each of them to anyone that wants it, because they will be out with the washing.
Okay, so 6 to 1 Zarkander, 6 to 1 Binocular down the new shop in Leopardstown, is it?
Down the new shop, yep.